And so I realized that I needed to step back and be okay with good money, working part-time, still being a full mom, still taking care of me and putting me first so I could be happy too. And it's honestly a constant balance.
So you want to make an impact. You're thinking about starting a business, sharing your voice. How do women do it that handle motherhood, family, and still chase after those dreams? Well, listen each week as we dive into the stories of women who know. This is Call Me CEO. How do you measure success? With today's guest, you will in no doubt wonder if this person has been successful. And yet it's so interesting to me to hear her talk about taking steps back from the amount that she was pushing herself so that she could have the kind of success that means the most to her as a wife and a mother. Now, with that being said, her list of accolades has no short stop, nor will they be stopping. I know that she'll continue to do incredible things. Melea has been featured in and on a variety of media outlet shows, including The Rachel Ray Show, Today, Forbes, YAHOO, Daily Finance, Women's First Magazine, Working Mother Magazine, Wall Street Journal, Consumer Digest, U.S. News, The Food Network, Hallmark's Home and Family, to name a few. But what really matters to Melea Johnson is to helping others save money and create financial freedom so that you can live the life that you want. She started her blog Freebies to Deals in 2009 and was able to sell it for a good chunk of money in 2016, where she then started her own YouTube channel where she continues to share money saving tips and ways to help you live financially free. On today's episode, we are talking about how to save money and Melea's own journey of creating her business and what she learned along the way and how to take care of herself as a woman, a mother, and a wife, and ultimately deciding that she needed to scale back to create a balance that was really true to what her goals were. Now, on top of that, I want to make sure that you know that as well as sharing the Melea Show and what Melea is doing there, we also have a second episode right after this to tell you about what you need to know about Black Friday today and how you can save the most money right now. So please binge these episodes and you can take notes in figuring out what's a good balance for you, your family, your life, and also the next episode where we'll be talking exclusively about freebies and deals, Freebies to Deals with Melea, which you can now find at themeleashow.com, both online and on YouTube. So let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Call Me CEO. This one is a little different because it is a timely episode you're going to want to listen to right away. Grab a notebook and pen because we are talking with Melea of the Melea Show, who is the queen of all things saving money and has a very fun approach to making Christmas more fun by getting the confusion out of it. And Melea is also a very dear friend of mine. We go back years and years. So we're going to dive into a little bit about her story, how she started out with blogging and then transformed it into a very successful business. And I can do the bragging about her later in my intro. But Melea, thank you for squeezing us in. I can't believe we're filming this the week of the Black Friday craziness that seems to be happening earlier and earlier every year.
I know. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to talk to you guys about this. I mean, Black Friday really right now it really does get every year. I'm always surprised. I don't know why I'm not surprised that I'm surprised, but I'm just always surprised about how early it starts and brands will fight over you. The stores fight over you, but helping families save money and, stretch their money and help them just save time is my whole goal. So that's why I work so hard in November every year. So families can have time to actually celebrate Thanksgiving because all of their shopping will be done before real Black Friday. And then they can enjoy December, instead of running around and trying to get all these last minute shopping done. I mean, a lot of my followers are actually already done with all of their Christmas shopping with the deals we've shared so far. So I think that's awesome. And it just makes the holiday season just so much more simpler, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. And I think that I appreciate that it isn't the day after Thanksgiving anymore, that big push, or even the day of Thanksgiving, because I feel like a lot of people were missing out on that time with their families. because they were so anxious to get to the store physically, where now you can do so much more online. And I feel like that is so helpful because I love shopping online. And I feel like if I can do that instead of fighting the crowds, sign me up every day. Like that's the game plan for me.
Yeah, totally. I agree. And the funny thing is I know a lot of people really like that in-store experience. They like to do the whole like standing outside in the freezing cold and, stay up really late. That sounds horrible to me. Absolutely horrible. And the crazy thing is that when you're in store, there's only so many items per store versus shopping online. You get a better deal. You get it earlier than Black Friday and there's more stock. So you're not fighting like just, all these people in the store trying to get something physically. It's just easier. Let's just make life easy, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, let's start back. I mean, rewinding the clock a little bit. I think that you as a deal blogger, as far as I know, are the first one that I knew of because it was, I don't know, back in, I would guess, this is me guessing, was it 2008 or 2009 that you started your deal blog and you started sharing ways that you were saving money? Was it with groceries first, or take us back into the steps of how you started and how you started sharing your passion for saving?
Yeah. Okay. So just for all of those out there who don't know, I stumbled into my success in my business by complete mistake or God-given direction. I'm not really quite sure. I'm sure it's probably more on the God side. So I was pregnant with my first child. And this was 2008. And I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom while I was raising her with the newborn. And I thought, man, what am I going to do for a job? Because I knew it was going to be hard to try to juggle a job and then have a newborn. I wasn't sure what we were going to do. My husband at the time was in mortgages. And so everything he was getting was commission. So we never knew what kind of money we were having coming in. It was really hard to budget. Some months would be great and other months, wouldn't be. I know you've been in mortgages before in the past. And so like, how it is. It's just commission and you don't know. And so finally I got to this point. I was super pregnant. I was like, man, you know what? I'm just going to have to be super smart with the money that I do have. And whatever my husband Brady brings in, I'm just going to have to be really smart with it. And so I started learning about couponing. I started learning about how to save money. And I started realizing that there were so many ways to get deals, that I could actually get free groceries at the grocery store, which blew my mind. And I was like, does anyone even know this? Because I didn't know it. And so back then it was 2009. I ended up having postpartum depression really bad. I didn't know it at the time. I don't think people talk about it enough to even, recognize the signs, or it's kind of almost like a faux pas to talk about it. But I had postpartum really bad. And the only way I could really connect with people was through a blog. And that was back when the blogs were diaries and everyone had their family blogs. I mean, it was forever ago if people remember that. And I just started sharing the ways I was saving money. And I was like, did you guys go get this coupon? You can print it off here and then you can go get like this food at the grocery store for free. And so I had families that, obviously I knew that were following me. And then all of a sudden it was strangers from all different states across the country. Cause I could see like, where the hits were coming from on the website. And I was like, I don't know anyone in New York and I don't know anyone in Montana. And pretty soon I had like a few thousand people visiting my blog every day to see what new money saving tip or grocery tip or whatever I was sharing. And then it kind of just blew up out of control. TV stations wanted me on to come talk about it. The recession started hitting people really badly. And that was in 2009. And everyone was looking to save money. And so it kind of grew into this monster of a beast where I changed it out of my family blog because I didn't want people, it needed to be branded at that point. And so I was like, hey, well, let's create a real blog. And I called it Freebies to Deals. And then it kind of just exploded from there. And it ended up becoming one of the largest money saving blogs in the country. I never would have thought it would have ended up like that. It was just, I was learning as I was going. No one knew anything about blogging. No one knew you could make money blogging. Back then you couldn't make money blogging. It was right when I started is when people started realizing that they could monetize blogging. So I was there from the ground floor up and I've learned a lot over the last, 12 years. So I ended up selling that blog in. Do you want me to keep talking? I feel like I'm just talking a lot.
No, this is great. Do it.
Okay. I ended up selling my blog in 2016. So that was 7 years of blogging. And when I say blogging, I know some people are like, oh, you put up a blog like every few days. No, I was posting anywhere from like 40 to 60 blog posts a day. And, all of these had pictures, they had information about the deal, they had the links. to the point where I had up to 8 different women working for me at the same time, helping me get these deals up. And as much as I loved what I did, and, I have a passion for saving money. I mean, who doesn't get excited about getting a crazy deal on something you wanted for a long time, or saving a few $100s at the grocery store? I mean, that's just awesome. I got to a burnout point, and I was burned out for about a year and a half. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. Not only did I have 2 young kids at the time that needed my attention, and I knew that I wasn't giving them all of me. I knew that I was missing out on a lot of their milestones because I was so busy. To give you guys an idea, I was working 40 to 60 hours. Well, no, that's more than that, 60 to 80 hours a week, plus all of my employees. And I felt such a loyalty to my followers that I didn't want to leave them hanging. I didn't want to have them miss a deal that was super good. So I always felt like this panic and this anxiety over making sure that I got the deal at first, that a lot of people could get it. It was just really, really trying on my health. And I will tell you, back then, I was not the healthiest. I wasn't taking care of me. I wasn't putting myself first. I was putting everything else first. And as great as the money was from all of the work that I was doing, I got to a point where I said, this isn't worth it. And it's funny now because I will watch other newbie bloggers or other newbie Instagrammers or YouTubers, and I see their posts and I'm like, oh, young one. Oh, no, young one, you do not know what you are doing, because they haven't gotten to that point of burnout or haven't realized what they're sacrificing in order to get that level of fame or in order to get that level of money that they're searching for. And while it's all great, and I think every woman should be out there like hustling and doing what they need to do, there is a work-life balance that moms and women just in general, they have to figure out. And watching some of these, friends of mine that I have, I watch them and I'm like, man, are you dying yet? Like, are you there yet? Because they just haven't gotten to that point. And I feel like I'm maybe a little bit ahead of the curve on that because I've been through that. And to me, it's just not worth it. It's not worth losing my family over. It's not worth losing my marriage over. It's not worth, I don't know. It's not worth my, I'm religious. It's not worth my children's upbringing and their belief in God and me teaching them about that. So I had to get to a point where I was like, you know what? We've got to reevaluate life here. There's got to be a way for me to still be able to make good money doing what I do without killing myself. We have amazing money, like crazy, amazing money. And then we have really good money, and the levels of work that go along with those are drastically different. Evaluate life here. There's got to be a way for me to still be able to make good money doing what I do without killing myself. We have amazing money, like crazy, amazing money. And then we have really good money, and the levels of work that go along with those are drastically different. And so I realized that I needed to step back and be okay with good money, working part-time, still being a full mom, still taking care of me and putting me first so I could be happy too. And it's honestly a constant balance. There's never, if I could tell women out there, don't think you're ever going to get to a perfect balance. It's always there. It is constantly ebbing and flowing. You always have to check yourself because one thing is always going to be weighted heavier than the others. There's no such thing as perfect balance. It can't happen. You might have perfect balance for like an hour, but like after that, like it doesn't happen. There's always one thing you're giving more time to, and that's okay as long as it's constantly changing. So, you are giving your family and your kids enough time. You are giving your business enough time, and you are giving yourself enough time. So do you want me to keep talking? I feel like I'm just rambling and going on.
No, this is great. You guys can't see me on the other end, but I've just been nodding and nodding and nodding because I feel like I've had those moments of burnout. I feel like, and I haven't even worked that many hours like you have. And I feel like I've had those same thoughts of balance is something that it looks different for everyone. And it's constantly in flux, where one might be getting more attention than the other. And you as the director of that ship just need to decide day to day what that looks like. And there is no perfect formula. So what I'm curious to know is when you did make the transition of saying, okay, I'm at a burnout point, what was it that you gave up and replaced with something different that made that transition and a better balance for you? Like, what was it that you did? Was that when you sold your blog and started the YouTube channel? Was it after the YouTube channel? Like, what was that spot for you?
So I would think that was probably about a 2-year transition period. So in 2016, I ended up selling my blog. Now, when I say that, people are like, what? What do you mean you sold your blog? I didn't know if it was possible. I didn't know if it was a thing. It's not really a thing, to be honest. Luckily enough, I had branded my blog as a business and not on my own name. So that when another investor wanted to come in and buy me out, and still, I mean, to this day, Freebies to Deals is still up and running. I don't know how well it's doing. I have no idea, but I was bought out by an investor who wanted to take it over. They took over all my employees as well and continue to pay them to post and everything. And they still post deals there. We went through a broker. I guess they have website selling brokers, just like a real estate broker. I mean, I had to do a lot of research, and I was like, it was more that I felt like in my soul, that's what I was supposed to do. And it just laid out so perfectly that I felt like it was God directed for sure. And I was like, all right, I'll sell my blog. And to this day, people are like, I can't believe you did that. Like, that's a thing. And I'm like, you know what? Like, it was, and I got really lucky, and I made good money selling that blog. And I was able to take like I wish I could say like I took years off, but I didn't, because that's not my personality.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was about a 6-month thing where I'm like, okay, now I'm bored. I had about a 6 months of, kind of just relaxing and reevaluating. And then I was like, I got to do something else. So in that meantime, where I was selling my blog, before that, I had sold that. I had been talking with ABC to do my own TV show. And it had been something I always wanted to do. I majored in broadcast journalism. I would love to have a TV show because I wanted to be able to show people how to do the deals. Having a blog was great, being able to type it all out. But I kind of saw the curve coming, and this was in 2016, where I figured video was going to become more important than blogs. I kind of saw like the writing on the wall before it happened. And so I was like, I need to do more video content, showing people how to do things, because they just don't have time to read blogs like they used to. And so I was in talks with ABC for a year and a half. And it came down to the fact that we could not agree on money. They wanted all the money. And I was like, no, I'm doing all the work, and I have all the content, and I'm the on-air talent, and I'm bringing in the advertisers. No. So finally, I just got to a point where, you know what, like, this isn't going to work. So why don't I just do my own YouTube channel? So I decided to create my own YouTube channel, created the Melea Show. I don't know how I feel about the name, to be honest, but my followers really liked it, because they're like, oh, it's just like Oprah. It's just like Rachel Ray or whatever. Like, you're the show. You're the one who shares all the deals and the information. So just name it that. And so I started a YouTube channel, and within 6 months, we had over 100,000 subscribers. And then in about, a year and a half, we had over 300,000 subscribers on that channel. And the same thing happened again. The same thing happened, which I guess tells you a lot about my personality. I got so sucked in to success and to building it and to making sure it was the most successful and bringing in the money. And I wanted the most subscribers, and I wanted the most likes and the comments, and I wanted it to be, I wanted a successful business, right? And I got there, and then I had to reevaluate again. And that's where I'm at right now. I mean, it's kind of funny. I mean, I shouldn't do that twice in a row, right? But at least I'm learning from it. I had another aha moment where I was like, oh, okay, I've gotten to this level of success on YouTube and social media platforms. And it's great. But after you've done this where I'm at 12 years now that I've shared things online, I mean, over a decade, it's insane. Once you get to that point, you start thinking, what's it worth? And then you realize what needs to be done in order to be successful. So after building the blog and then building a second business, I was like, man, I know in order to grow my YouTube following, I have to do this, 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 and this. Like, super easy formula. I know what I need to do. Same thing with Instagram. If I want to get, to this many followers, I know I have to do this, 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 and this. And it came down to me not being willing to do that anymore, because I knew how much time it sucked out of my life. Because these platforms, they all want you to be on their platform all the time. They want you to be creating content for their platform all the time. And they reward people who do that, right? So I knew how many videos I needed to put up in order to grow. I mean, I had to put up at least 2 to 3 videos a week. And my videos aren't like vlog style videos. They're an informational shopping deal. Like they're very instructional and they aren't something you can just put up super quick. So I was killing myself just trying to get up to a week. And I thought, man, shoot, I know what I need to do, but I just not worth it. I keep saying that because I know a lot of people in my position would be like, yeah, it's worth it. I just think after doing it for a long time, like I said earlier, you got to find that balance. You just do. So now, yes, do I still have a YouTube channel? Yes. Do I post on it all the time? No. I only post things on it now that I know that are going to get a lot of views, that are going to be highly searchable SEO wise, and are they're going to be very helpful. So, that might mean like a video every like 2 or 3 months, which does that help my YouTube channel grow? No, but I get a lot of views on those videos and, I still have a presence there. And Instagram's the same way. I know what I need to do to grow on Instagram, but I'm not willing to do it because, man, I need to have time to take care of my followers, which is important to me by answering questions, finding things that help them or make their lives easier. And then the other time I need is for my family and for myself. And before I got to this point, my health was horrible. I can't even tell you, like so sick. I was overweight. I didn't eat properly. I've had so many issues, like just medical issues that I've had to deal with over the last few years. And I am in better shape than I've ever been before in my life now. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I'm happier than I've ever been. And so while I may not be as successful as I would like to be, like I'm okay with where I'm at right now because you need the balance. You need to have all like cups full in the different aspects of your life. So that's where I'm at right now. Did that answer all of your questions? I feel like I'm talking a lot, but.
Well, I appreciate everything. It's interesting because I do know you're very much a driver. You're a type A, you know what needs to get done and you'll make it happen. And it's fascinating for me to watch because I do know that you know that formula and you'll get there. But one thing that you just said that I think I want to just hold up a mirror to a little bit is where you said, I'm not as successful as I want to be, but my health and my life is better than ever. And if that's not success, what is success?
Right. Well, and I think that's the thing, right? Everyone views success differently, right? Is success be having the most followers? Is success having the most money? Is, what is everyone's vision of success or thought about that is completely different. For me, if I could have anything in the world, it would be to have like the most amazing, most followers, most money, like super important, Forbes list, whatever company. But I know that's not possible unless I'm willing to sacrifice my time, my health, and my family. I've thought about this so many times in so many ways. I mean, people would think my mind is crazy. Because I'm like, I know there's no way to do it. Right. And even people are like, oh, we'll hire people. And I'm like, no. I've done that too. What happens when you hire people with my type of personality is that you just find more things for yourself to do. So you like outsource all of the stuff you don't want to do. And then you're like, oh, I have a great idea. Let's do this to grow the following, or let's do this will grow this, or let's add this new concept, or let's, it just frees up your mind to do new things. It doesn't take time off your plate. It just makes it bigger.
Do more. You want to do more.
Yeah,
you want to do more.
It literally has you do more. So I've tried really hard to not have employees the second time around because of that, because I know that's what happens when you have employees. Maybe I'll change my mind later, but right now I'm good with where I'm at. And I figure if I don't have enough time to do it on my own, then it's too much. So that's kind of been like my little, what word am I looking for? Marker.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have time to do it. Yeah. My gauge. Thank you. That's my gauge. If I don't have time to do it, then it's probably too much, so that's where I'm at. And I realize that a lot of people might not be there or might think I'm crazy, but people only think I'm crazy until they get there. And then they're like, now I get it. Now I get what you're talking about. They just might be a few years behind me, right? They haven't gotten to that point where they just feel like they're drowning and suffocating, and it's just not worth it. So,
yeah. Well, I'm proud of you. I think it's been I've been a fan of yours from the beginning. Before we were friends, I was a fan, and watching you go through this growth, both in your success financially and with your business, and also in your family and where you are right now individually. I think that you are so successful, and every single way. So I'm just so happy for you. I think it's amazing.
Oh, thank you. So you're sweet. We really have known each other. I mean, I remember when you came up and talked to me, gosh, that was literally like, I think 11 years ago. 11 years ago. I don't know, remember what it was, but we've met a long time ago. So we've known each other for a really long time. But yeah, and that means a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So I want to talk to you about your health, but I think we do need to switch some gears. But if you could sum up just in a couple of minutes before we switch gears to helping our listeners save for Black Friday, what would you say has been your number one help with getting your health in check? Like, what have you done? Because you look so good. You look so good, Melea, and you look so healthy and happy. Like, what have you done to transition that for you?
I would just say to all the women out there, if something feels off or wrong, it is. Don't second guess yourself. Don't say, oh, I'm just tired. Oh, I've been up with the kids. No. If you feel like there's something not working right in your body, or you feel like something's off or something's wrong, 100% something's wrong. And I feel like sometimes as women, we don't listen to those cues our bodies give us, but we're very intuitive by nature, the way God made us. So listen to those thoughts or those feelings that you have about your own body, because more than likely you're right. So for me, I was so tired all the time. And when I started getting really serious about my health and, losing the weight and just being healthier looking, right? I wasn't looking to be like some super skinny supermodel. It was more about like being happy in my own skin, being healthy. I still wasn't back to pre-baby weight. I put 65 pounds on with my first child, 45 with my second, and it was just so hard to lose the weight. And I'm like, why is this so hard? I'm literally doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I'm working out 5 days a week with crazy workout plans, killing myself, right? I'm eating perfectly. And when I say perfectly, I mean no sugars, not a single cheat, completely clean, and like nothing. And I even paid to work with like a nutritionist that works with celebrities and all these other people that, obviously knew what he was doing with macros and everything. And finally we got to a point where he's like, I've never worked with a client that is so perfect in doing everything they're supposed to do and has such horrible results. And I'm like, awesome.
Oh,
thank you for the compliment. And he goes, something's wrong with you and you need to go fix it. He's like, I'm pretty sure that your hormones are out of whack. And I was like, okay. He's like, you need to go get your hormones checked. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I ended up going to get my hormones checked. And when you get your hormones checked, you need to be very aggressive because most doctors think you're fine and they will fight you on it unless you're going to go to like a hormone specialist or something like that. So they tested my testosterone, my progesterone, and my estrogen. I get a call like a week later and the doctor's like, I know what's wrong with you. And I was like, okay, what? He goes, you have 0 testosterone. And I was like, what? He's like literally it didn't even show up on the blood test. Like you had so little, like we couldn't even read it on the blood test. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah. He's like, that's why you're so tired all the time. That's why you feel like you're like on death's door, because you're just like so tired. He said, that's why you can't lose weight. That's why you have low sex drive. That's why all of these things are happening to you. And it's all because of low testosterone. And I was like, okay, crazy. Right. So, and anyway, I ended up getting my testosterone supplemented. Life changing. I mean, I can't even say that enough. Life changing. And the funny thing is when I've shared about that on my Instagram with my followers, I can't tell you how many women have had those same issues and have messaged me like saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much for saying something about this because I had no testosterone or my testosterone was super low. I've never felt better or whatever. And the funny thing is after doing research about this and talking with my doctor who does the testosterone pellets, inserts and supplements and stuff, he was like, at first, when I heard about this, I thought it was hogwash, thought it was the dumbest thing ever because he's a OBGYN, very popular one here in Utah. And he's like, but finally I went to a seminar and I learned about it. And what I realized after all my research is that most women are misdiagnosed with postpartum depression and it's actually low testosterone.
Oh, wow.
And how crazy is that? I mean, especially, with all of these women who have multiple children, right? Some of them very quickly back to back. They think that they are having postpartum depression when really it's a hormone issue. We already know our hormones are out of whack, right? When we have babies, we all have the ups and downs and the crazy moments we all have, but it's low testosterone. And so for whatever reason, my body just didn't ever really start making it after my babies. So that's my little tip. That's the thing that's literally changed my life. My relationship with my husband is better. I have energy, which, I mean, I'm not like Energizer Bunny. I still have friends like that I look at them and I think, what do you take? What are you drinking? Can I have what you have? But I don't have to take a nap every day like I used to. Before that, I literally I couldn't make it through the day without falling asleep. Like that's how tired I was. And then once I started getting my testosterone pellets, and I had regular levels of where a woman should be testosterone wise, the weight started dropping off. Wow. And I've done other things as well, like other programs that I swear by, like the Mommy Tummy Fix, I think is by far the best workout program ever invented. Actually made by someone here in Utah. It's amazing. So that along with the testosterone, absolutely great. So
amazing.
That's what I would say. Tell women, or I'll tell women since they're listening.
Yes.
If something feels off, get it checked. And then second of all, get your hormones checked. I can't even tell you, like hundreds of women have messaged me saying, oh my gosh, mine was low. Like, and it's just from having babies. It's crazy.
And do you think that that's something that you have to go to a specialist to do? Or because like you say, most of the time your family physician, for example, might not dig into the weeds? Or do you think most physicians, you could just say, hey, I want to do a hormone test and you could just get it taken care of? What would you say?
Well, the responses I'm getting from my followers, it's kind of half and half. So they've asked their, regular doctor. Some say yes, some say no. You have to specifically say when you're doing a blood test, you have to say you want those 3 pulled because they will not randomly just pull those. I don't know if it's an insurance issue. I don't know why they don't do that. Honestly, I feel like that's something they should do for every woman, especially those who are delivering babies, right? So I think you need to ask your regular practitioner first, but then even if they pulled it, they wouldn't be able to treat it unless they knew how to do it. So that's when you need to find someone who does the testosterone pellets. And I know a lot of men do that, but a lot of women are doing it now too, like myself. And so I think you need to either ask around Facebook friends or whatever, because I think more women are doing it than you realize because it's becoming more and more of a topic people talk about. So you might have to go find a specialist to actually put in the supplement for you or the pellets for you. But yeah, there are plenty of places out there that will do it.
And you get them prescribed. So it's like a prescription or?
No, actually. So there's a few different types of testosterone. You might hear of like creams where you just rub it into your skin. And there's also, liquid shots that you can shoot in, and that would be a prescription. I get pellets inserted into my hip. So I go into a doctor's office, they numb my hip, they cut me open, they put in the pellets, and I don't need stitches or anything like that. It's totally fine. It just heals up within a couple days. And then having those pellets inside my body, they look like little pills you would swallow, but your body pulls from them when it needs it. And so it's a steady stream of testosterone versus the shots. I personally don't recommend the shots. I know a lot of other people don't either because it gives you up and down mood swings unless you are absolutely perfect, never miss a shot, never forget, same time every day. You know what I mean? And so I like the pellets being put in, and you go in every 3 or 4 months and get them put in again. So your body just pulls from them in a steady stream and you don't have to think about it. So it's super easy. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but once you do it, you're going to be like, best thing ever. You don't have to say me, it's great.
That's fascinating. I do have a friend who does the shots and she loves them. I have not heard of the pellets. Like, I'm super interested. We're going to have to talk more about that and look into that a little bit more. That's fascinating.
The pellets, I feel like, are something that you might hear about more with men, right? Because men's testosterone, as they get older, it just naturally depletes, right? So my husband has gotten pellets for a long time, just because his is already low. But I think it's becoming more and more talked about. And for women, it's just like, I just feel like as women, we have so much going on, so much to remember, so much to do, that like, if you were to forget one morning, it would mess things up so badly for you. I don't want like manic depressive cycles in my day, from not getting the testosterone even. So that way it's just like hands off for me, where I don't have to think about it again.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, this is what I'm thinking is this episode has been so incredible. I'm going to end this episode right now. We're going to start a new one just talking about Black Friday deals. So Melea, thank you for sharing everything about your balance and your life and your journey. I cannot wait to see what you do next. It's only going to be good things, and something I try to remember in my own journey. And for those of us who have been doing things for a long time, whatever field that it is that you choose, is that you have so much life ahead of you. And we have such a short time with our kids, and so if you're in that phase of life right now, listening to this and thinking, oh, I feel this burnout, or I really need to take a pause in my story here and change gears, do it, because you can always continue to grow and morph and change as we age. Like we really have so much left, right? And so I'm just so excited to see what that looks like for you, because you are a doer. You have done incredible things. Tell everyone listening to this episode where they can find you online.
Oh, they can find me, the Melea Show, on Instagram. I share the most there, the most constantly. And stories, honestly, is where I share probably the most and the bulk of my content, especially, deals and money saving things, because I can give people a direct link to whatever it is I'm talking about, the deal, the sale, the product I reviewed, whatever. But Instagram is probably the best place. I do have the YouTube channel. There's a lot of like really solid, awesome videos over there, especially for travel or Costco tips and things like that people can watch. But for everyday content and like real-time content, Instagram is probably the best place for people to go.
Perfect. Okay. Well, we're going to pause right here. If you love this episode, please join us in the next one. We're just going to be talking Black Friday deals, and you can hear more about what you need to know today. Wasn't that an incredible episode? I love so much what Melea had to say about taking your health into consideration when you're setting goals for yourself as a woman, an entrepreneur, and mother, really taking time for yourself to create success that matters to you. And I cannot tell you how much I loved this episode, and I had to pause it because I knew we were going to be shifting gears into talking about Black Friday exclusively and how it is such a unique Black Friday this year with the pandemic and shortages and everything else. So listen to the next episode to hear what you need to do to save money today.